Can a compact SUV ever be more than just that, a compact SUV? This is the Audi SQ2, and clearly it's a compact SUV. But with four-wheel drive and a 300 horsepower turbocharged engine, it isn't like many other compact SUVs. The S part of the SQ2 badging means this is one of Audi's mid-range performance cars. In fact, its engine and powertrain are borrowed from the S3 hot hatch. The price before options is £36,500. So this car is actually part compact SUV and part hot hatch. Practical, comfortable, wieldy around town one moment and then fast and fun to drive the next, or at least that's the big pitch. Compared to a conventional Q2, the SQ2 sits 20mm closer to the road on lowered suspension. That should make it more agile and responsive than the version your mum might own. To look at, the SQ2 is actually quite subtle. If it wasn't for this car's £1,500 exterior styling package, you might not know you were looking at a 300 horsepower B-road thug at all. So it's got plenty of power, and with four-wheel drive, it puts that power down to the road really effectively as well. Now this car weighs about 1,500 kilograms. It's not light. Even so, it'll still sprint to 62 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds and only top out at 155. The SQ2 doesn't get adaptive dampers as standard. In fact, they're not even on the options list. Audi reckons fixed-rate dampers are better suited to a sporty SUV like this one. The cabin is mostly very good, typical Audi fare in here, really good quality, soft touch materials across the top of the dash, lots of lovely premium feeling switchgear as well. However, it is a previous generation Audi cockpit, so newer model, something like an A1, has got the next generation Audi cockpit, which feels much more modern, crisper, cleaner, sharper. This is still very good though. Rear seat space I would describe as adequate. It's far from generous. This car is actually slightly shorter than the S3 that it borrows its engine and powertrain from, which means rear seat space is not really generous. Adults are not going to be comfortable in there for too long. Now, this car is about nothing if not its loftier seating position. Compact SUVs are so popular these days exactly because of that. You get a slightly more commanding view of the road. Now, I'm not sitting much higher than I would do in a conventional hatchback, but even so, you do feel like you have a slightly more commanding view of the road, and lots of buyers will really love that. This particular car has the £1,395 technology pack. It includes the brilliant Audi Virtual Cockpit. That's the 12.3-inch digital screen in the instrument binnacle combined with the 8.3-inch central display. There's plenty to get your head around, but the infotainment system and the MMI touch controller are actually very intuitive to use. Fitted as standard to the SQ2 are what Audi calls sport seats, which have these slightly more prominent bolsters, but to be honest, they're not super supportive. This car has got the optional interior pack, which costs £900 and adds black and red Napa leather with the diamond stitching in the seat, the S embossed into the back of the seat rest, and also these red accents around the vents. One option that's certainly worth considering is the driver assistance pack. This car's got it fitted. It costs £725 and it includes things like adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, high beam assist, and plenty more besides. So what's the SQ2 actually like to drive? Well, in terms of all the everyday stuff, I think it's pretty good really. The ride is lumpy at low speeds. That's the right word, lumpy, but it's not uncomfortable. It's very easy to drive. Visibility is very good. It's refined, it's quiet on the motorway. So in terms of all that day-to-day stuff, it's pretty effortless. We've got the drive modes here, drive select it's called, and I can cycle through all the different modes and stick it into dynamic. With the powertrain switched into its more aggressive mode, the SQ2 becomes a properly feisty car. The engine is really impressive. It's the same engine that's used right across the VW Group's range of hot hatches in the Golf R, the Golf GTI, high performance Seat and all the rest of it. And it's a very good engine. Powerful, really responsive, torquey, very impressive actually. There's no manual gearbox option, but it's not a big deal for me. This twin clutch paddle shift transmission is much better to this sort of car. Now this car's got four-wheel drive, of course, which means that particularly on a wet day, you can use all of that power. It doesn't go to waste. The slightly loftier seating position does give you a better view of the road ahead, and with more ground clearance and wheel travel, the SQ2 deals with a bumpy road better than many hot hatches. It's also got lots of cornering grip, this SQ2, all of which means it's got tons of pace cross-country, point to point. Much more so, certainly, than most people looking at a compact SUV would ever imagine. But is the SQ2 fun to drive? That's a different question, really. Is it fun to drive? Not really. Instead, in its wisdom, Audi has tuned this car to be stable and secure and capable and safe, rather than really thrilling. A capable and likeable car then, but it hasn't suddenly made the hot hatch redundant. If you do want a slightly taller car though, perhaps because you've got very young children, it's just easier to get them strapped into the back of a compact SUV, you can at least have one that's fast and reasonably enjoyable to drive. Thank you for watching. Please comment below, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember to head to cargurus.co.uk where you'll find the used car you're looking for from a top-rated dealer.